Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside the Genie, where we will be looking at a race meeting today on the Scottsville track on the 9th of May. The first race is off at 11:50. The first two races is made in juvenile, so we're not going to touch on them. And we'll start with race 3, but I'll do the betting for races number 1 and 2, so you can then have a look at it. On the outset, I just want to say that again, it is a very difficult card today, and I think to back the winners is not going to be an easy job, but I'm going to do my level best to give you guys guidance into what I think might be the bets that you need, or the horses that you need to play. But yeah, as I said, there's no guarantees. I did mention last night on my WhatsApp group, I'm getting a bit of a bashing. But anyway, that is a story for another day. So let's look at the betting. Here we have number 14, Give Me a Princess, Prince, 8 to 10. This is the mother is Real Princess, was a very good horse in that time. Asta Manana, 13 to 10, 20 to 1 in GENIE. Ingwe France, 22 to 1, Road Tree, 25 to 1, Future Trip, 25 to 1, Head Garden, and 20 to 1, 28 to 1, number 5, Romani Conti, 40 to 1, and better. Guys, as I just want to mention again, in these juvenile races, keep your money in your pocket pen. Yesterday again, it was a big upset in Cape Town. They backed the Snavels and into, I think, 8 to 10 or 9 to 10. And then the stablemate came and won at 100 to 1. It's just not worth the risk. I also got the bashing and why I'm not tipping on the juvenile races. So I said, well, how can I tip on something that is not form? And then another thing I just want to mention, also there was a huge upset and in the fourth race we had a 50 to 1 one. And then also I was asked, but why couldn't I find that horse? Now, guys, as I said before, I am a form analyzer. For me to pick a horse, he must have some sort of a form. So what I do is, when I assess the form, I look at certain pointers that can point me in a direction that I can say, okay, taking this in account, then this horse can perform or can improve or can run a better race or whatever. But if there's no form whatsoever, if a horse keeps on running last, second, last, and even over various distances, how can I pick that horse on form? So even when I give a long shot, a 53 to 1, you will always have a look and see that there is something in the form of that horse that indicates to me that it has got a chance. I am outside of Genie and I do tip the outsider, but you can't expect me to perform miracles in finding horses who's got absolutely no form whatsoever. This is racing. It happens. And when it happens, we all just take it on the chin and we move on. So the second race is number 7, Party Time, 13 to 10, 2 to 1, Incredible, 6 to 1, Noble Trip, 50 to 1, Trident King, 60 to 1, Noble Sniper, 16 to 1, National Flag, Purple Operator, 20 to 1, 20 to 1, Winter Journey, and 25 to 1, and longer the race. So here we get to the third race, which is a 1400 meters, and here the betting is as follows. Number 5, Indigo Moon, 3 to 1, Global Appeal, 7 to 2, Diamonds and Todd, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, Backstop, 10 to 1, Super Layla, Faithful Ministers, 12 to 1, Regina's Angel, 12 to 1, 16 to 1, Megan, Bollywood, 16 to 1, Blanchette, 16 to 1, and 20 to 1 and better the rest. So here, let's have a look at my first selection is the number 8 horse, Global Appeal. I do like the look of this horse. He's coming on slowly, has had a couple of good runs, has had 2 runs on Scottsville for a third and a fourth. And of Lyle Hewitson, who's riding again at the top of his game, really, I think this horse must have a huge chance in this race. For outside the selections, I'm going for number 12, Backstop. The Tony Revelant and Stuart Randall combination is getting the winners these days and cannot be left out. Now, this horse ran over 1100 last time out and was there and has got out of it, but ran out of it. But I think this horse ran his best race over the 1400 meters. Therefore, I think today again, here on the 1400 meter, but the only problem is drawn 12. But I think you're going to run improved race and need to include it in all of your play. And then also the number 15 horse, Blanchette. Blanchette has run places, has been at 8 runs on this course for a second, 3/3, and a fourth, but also drawn 15, which is not the best draw, but certainly an inclusion. This horse on her time, she ran here Glaver over the 1200, which is just behind. She's a keeper, and she's a keeper, has 1, 2, or 3 races since then, including a small future. So certainly Blanchette, the inclusion in all of your bets. And just to round up the exactas, the 4th horse, you need to include a favorite is number 5, Indigo Moon. Dylan on board, has had 2 seconds in a row, hasn't run bad, but has run most of his runs on the poly, now going on the turf only for the 3rd time. So, yeah, we just hope that the turf will not present a problem to number 5, Indigo Moon. We then move on to the next race, which is the 4th race in Full Flight Handicap listed. And this is the start of the Pick 6, as well as a few future races. And these future races today are extremely difficult. Let's look here at the betting in race 4. Here the betting is as follows. Number 13, Speed Machine, 15-4, Tempting Fate, 9-2, No Laying Up, 7-1, Gainswood, 15-2, Good Rhythm, 12-1, Winter Smoke, 12-1, Pray for Rain, 12-1, Inshana, 15-1, Mombella, 16-1, 7th Gear, 16-1, and Longer the rest. Now here in race number 4, my first selection is the number 13 horse, which is Speed Machine. This combination of Snape and Richard Fury, they're just rolling on. Now, this horse has had some reasonable races, and last time ran at Scottsville on the 1400 meters, be seeking the stars. And I do feel that distance might have just a little bit too far for him, and he might be better over the shorter distance. But then again, guys, as I said, this is a very open race, and I think this number 14, 15, the following horses, all has got huge chances in this race. Tempting Fate won 3 races in a row, of which of them were 2-year, beating Pray for Rain, and then went back to the Cape, but battled a little bit. And I think coming back after the 99 days race and to a course that he knows well, course and distance, 2 runs, 2 wins, has never lost on his course and distance. Definitely, I think Tempting Fate is due for a good race here. And then his stablemate, number 14, Pray for Rain. He won a race in Cape Town by 10 lengths. And then the next race, the wheels fell off. But then he came back to Scottsville last year in June and ran second to Tempting Fate. So surely, if you go for Tempting Fate, you also have to go for Pray for Rain. And you'll see that there's a 2-kilogram swing in the weights. So certainly that will bring Pray for Rain closer to Tempting Fate, and I do feel that number 14, Pray for Rain, must also be included in all of your bets. And then here's a number 15 horse, Traces. I also think that this horse is a horse that has got a chance. He ran against some decent oppositions, won 2 races in a row late last year, and I think this is the dark horse of the race. I think he's at a huge price as well, 15 Traces. Yeah, 16-1. And I think Trace is certainly not without a chance in this field. Then there's other horses that you need to include. Number 2, Laying Up. I'm not sure how good this horse is. It's also a Cape Town horse. It just being from Cape Town already puts this horse in the picture. He ran third behind Tempting Fate, but then flopped about Speed Machine. So one can, not sure if he can turn around 11 lengths on Speed Machine. But after that, he has run some decent races, and surely a horse that can also upset the upper card, although I don't think he is in a long price. Yeah, it's 7-1. Then also number 1, Gold Rhythm at 12-1. This horse also runs huge races, has been running against some top opposition, and it's always there and thereabouts. And I think Good Rhythm definitely inclusion in this race. Definitely, I think, has got a chance. Then we move on to race number 5, which is the Leicester Stakes. This is for 2-year-olds, fillies, and colts. This is the Leicester for fillies, and the next race is for colts. Now, I can tell you now, the betting in this race, I will not be rushing to take even money. In the next race, you'll see this horse has got even money. Number 8, Hosanna, 13-10. Sound of Warning, 22-10. Captains Run, 5-1. Civil Rights, 8-1. Cash Inverno, 8-1. Dancewood, 16-1. A Sailing, 16-1. And Sky Glitter, 20-1. Now, here in race 5, I am going for the favorite just because of the fact that it's Justin Snave and Richard Verree. But certainly, I don't think it's a selection that you could run now and go and put the house on. This horse is nice bred, and did win his first race, but then ran third behind Anastoria when even money. So, but she did debut and won on a juvenile, but then got run out of it in the next juvenile. And I think there is other horses as well that has a huge run. I want to quickly touch on number 7, Captain's Run. Now, guys, I can tell you now, I will not leave out any Cornice piece horses coming to 2-year-olds coming. I think he's won this race 3 or 4 times, and in some of the instances, he managed to win this race with huge outsiders. And I think this race behind Sheila last time was definitely a huge race. She beat some colts in that race, although 6 lengths behind, but Sheila won on a coconut. And even this race behind Under Your Spell, although Under Your Spell didn't perform on the day, certainly a horse has won 3 races in a row. Heaven's Girl has won again. So I think Captain's Run also in here with a huge run, not to be left out. This horse is not here to come and watch the sea. Then my other outsider selection is number 3, Grant Corson and Grant Vernica. Grant Corson had 4 winners the other day. And this horse improved from his first to his second run. And that's always a good sign. And because of the fact Grant Corson stable is in form, I'll include this horse. Then number 2, Civil Rights, is also a Rafif. And what kind of season has this horse has got? He's currently the leading 2-year-old sire. And this horse before, well, got run out of it by his stable mate in a juvenile last time out, but giving the winner 4.5 kilograms. And I think 2 Civil Rights also a horse that can be there and thereabouts in this race. Other horses I want to touch on quickly is number 6, is Sound of Warning, a trippy by a Luciford me, Lyle Hewitson on board. Always the combination of Terry and Lyle Hewitson also can, a potent combination. And this horse, he ran on well over the 1,000 meters, and it does seem that the 1,200, 1,100, and even further would also suit this horse. So certainly not a race to go short on. There's juveniles, they can improve. Then we come to race number 6, the Godolphin Bob Stakes. Let's have a look at the betting. And here we have a number 1 horse, Even Money, Cosmic Highway, Save Return, 90-10, Good Traveler, 6-1, Social Image, 11-1, Irfan's Boy, 11-1, 16-1, Paris 6, 16-1, Edgar Town, Chief Executive, 20-1, and longer the rest. And here's Eastern Bell, Cornice Peace, 55-1. Now again, I have seen so many times unbeaten horses coming to this race, and then they are favorites, and then they get beaten. This horse certainly has got a good record, number 1, Cosmic Highway, and certainly is a worthy favorite. But in this race, my first selection goes to the number 8 horse, which is Chief Executive. Not Chief Executive. Is good. We are now at race number 5. Sorry, race number 6. I just got confused for a minute. My selection is number 7, Good Traveler, another Grand Cox he made. Also a horse that is unbeaten and has won at Scottsville, which is a huge a huge advantage if you have won. And he won by 4.4 on that day. Anton Marcus on board, drew away, impressed. And then last time out, he was there all the while on the gravel track over 1,200 meters from a number 10 draw, which is not the best draw at gravel. And he certainly held on there. So I'm thinking number 7, Good Traveler, definitely in with a huge chance in this race. Then my outsider selections is number 5, Social Image, also a horse that has shown plenty of speeds. Lyle Hewitson on board. One is maiden by 6.5 lengths and then ran 6 behind to Sheila. Sheila came out and won again after that race and then faded out under your spell. But I think this definitely Sean Terry will have this horse at his peak. And then my other selections in race 6 is number 8, which is Irfan's boy, Ashley Fordson stable. This horse, I think, took a little bit of time, but it's a VAR by Kabul, certainly a lot of speed. And I think that will make his presence felt in this company. Then also a horse that you need to look at is number 10, Safe Return. Also a horse that ran second to Daniela, whatever. And then last time out, won by 4.25 lengths on the kennel with. And this trainer, Will Marshall, is having a good time here in KwaZulu-Natal in a moment. Luke Ferrara is riding on top of his game, and it's a William Longsword. And I also think this is a stallion. Also Captain L, one of his sons of Captain L. And I'm sure William Longsword is going to also make his presence felt as a stallion. So all in all, I think a very open race. I have included the number 4 horse in my play here because what's happening is you'll see here you have a filly carrying only 53.5 against Colts and Geldings carrying 60 and 58. And I think this is a shrewd move by Corneille Spies to enter this horse here. Because she did run reasonably behind Sound of Warning, but then last time out, lost 2 lengths at the start, and basically that was at the race run. And I'm thinking number 4, Eastern Bell, looking at his breeding, I think he's certainly a better than the form shows. And at 53.5 will be a huge outsider if she wins this race. So certainly do include in all of your play. And also you'll see a Social Image, also fully running against the Colts. I see Sean Terry also likes to do that because then he get a weight advantage. And we all know that at this time of the year that your fillies sometimes are better than the Colts, and they can, they can participate on equal terms. So let's move on to race number 7, which is the Poncetta Stakes, also a race with a nice history, a grade 3 over 1,200 meters, and certainly also a very open race. Let's have a look here at the betting. Number 2, Keeps the Lights on 4-1, Favorita 9-2, Sing for Rafa 5-1, Zimbabwe 7-1, Rolling the Hay 8-1, Linear 8-1, 12-1, All of Me, Letitia's Angel 12-1, Love Bomb 14-1, 16-1, and better the rest. I spent extremely long time on this race trying to determine which is going to be my selection. And at the end of the day, I went with, after a lot of consideration, I went for the number 11 horse, Rolling the Hay. This filly, 4-year-old filly from the Cass Robinson's, Candice Bass Robinson stable. She has won over this distance over 1100 meters. Sorry, over 1200 meters. We just want to confirm with you. I'm now also confused myself. Yeah, it's 1200 meters. Just want to make sure about that. Now, this is a type of filly which I think will be suited to the Scottsville trap because she can run on from behind. And that is certainly a good quality on this Scottsville because sometimes there's a tendency of the front runners to go too fast. And this horse has run against extremely good races against Celtic Sea and Hello Winter, Hello Winter, Hello, definitely no slouch. And last time out, won easily against Racine. Okay, but that wasn't Fairview, but it was a small future. And I think that certainly 11 rolling day, not without a prayer in this race. Then for outsider selections, I went for number 3, which is Zimbabwe. My choice had to go between the 3 and 11, and eventually I decided on the 11 horse. But I got a feeling that this number 3, Zimbabwe, is better than her form shows. I think the last 2 races definitely was too far for her, and now she's back over the sprint distance where she has beaten Celestial Love before and then ran second of 2.5 behind Celestial Love. And Celestial Love went on to win a small future the other day at Turvington. So surely this form has been, confirmed. So definitely, I think Free Zimbabwe, definitely including into your calculations, as well as number 9, Favorita. Favorita also ran close to Celtic Sea and then beat Phil's Dancer. Phil's Dancer came out after that and won again. So I think with Grant Vernica, definitely Favorita, I think, can be a strong runner in this field. And then let's have a look at number 2, which is the favorite, Keep the Lights On, Richard Furry, Justin Snape. You have to include this horse. That Fluffer Alliance in the last race at Turffontein behind Winter Smoke on the 28th of November. But then I had a nice long rest and he's now back again and did run well beyond Princess Keller on the 1400 meters, and I think the 1200 meters will suit it better. So I think Keep the Lights On definitely also a contender in this race. But Sing for Rafa, also a fast horse, but I'm not so sure about the 1200 meters. She hasn't won over the 1200 meters, and I do think that maybe the 1200 meters might just be that little bit too far for her. But again, Cornet's speech, you cannot leave him out. So certainly just put him in for maybe should he be able to, get a horse to perform on the day. We then move on to the 8th race, which is a Phyllis Mares 86 handicap over 1600 meters. And here the betting is as follows. Number 2, Admire Me, 33 to 10, Princess Anastasia, 33 to 10, 4 to 1, Star Vega, 12 to 1, number 7, Intuitive, 12 to 1, Charity Lane, 12 to 1, Conchita, 12 to 1, Electrical Search, 16 to 1, and better the rest. Now, here my first selection in, I think, a very strong selection from me today is number 5, Star Vega. This 5-year-old mare is just improving. 10 runs, 3 wins, a second and 3 thirds. So has been in the money 7 out of 10. But this horse runs on very, very well, and therefore I think the Scots will suit her down to the ground. And I think he has got the right type of jockey on. This jockey has ridden her once and won once because Richard Furry is a master in bringing a horse from behind. I think one of the best in the country. In the older days, we always used to say that P.S. Stradum was the master riding horses from the front. But I think in Richard Furry's case, he's a master in bringing a horse from behind. He just has got this knack of bringing horses. And based on his previous race where he ran in a Greyville B Division 88, which is the same class that he's now running in, it's now actually running in a C81. So it's a little bit down in class. I think Star Vega must be a huge runner in this race. For outsider selections, I went for number 7, which is Intuitive. I think this Visionaire fairly very well bred. She's on fire by Jetmaster, extremely well bred. Last time out of the pace, no show, but before that, ran on well behind. She's a keeper, and as I said before, she's a keeper. That form has been frank. 9 runners, 2 wins. Certainly number 7 in with a chance. And then my other outsider selection is number 9, which is Glory Days. Has had a stable change in January, and since then has run 3 runs, and I'm just feeling that this horse can also be improved. Has been running against stronger opposition in B divisions, now finding herself in a C division, and maybe a horse that you want to include in the back ends of your quartets and trifectas, certainly not without a shout. And then we have a look at number 2, which is Admire Me, has won 3 races, in 1 on the Poly and 2 at Greyville from the 1600 meters, now going to Scottsville, has run there for a 3rd and 2 fourths, but is certainly improving. Ran behind Netta. This was and we think now running behind Netta, with Netta is a good horse in herself. But I think number 2, Admire, must be a huge runner in this race. Also that you can include in your play is number 8, Princess Anastasia, a Silvano, very well bred out of Princess Victoria by Victory Moon. Princess Victoria is a very good horse in the time, and definitely is also in with a shout, race 8, Princess Anastasia. Then we move to the last race number, the 9th race. It's a maiden plate over 1500 meters, and for me is certainly a very open race, a few horses with chances. So let's have a look at the betting. Number 7, De Rosa, 22-10, 9-2 Cabinet Shuffle, 16-1 Victory Twist, 15-2 Cleto, Master Sonador, 8-1, 12-1 Tilmeave, Proteas Pride, 14-1, and 60-1 along with the rest. So here in the last race, I'm going to go for Richard Fourie again on the number 12 horse, which is Master Sonador. It is drawn 12, and I think he will have his work cut out. And that is why I am going for him, because I think this horse has shown form against some reasonably good horses. If you have a look here, 9 races, 2 wins, 12 races, 2 wins, 11 races, 2 wins, 11 races, 2 wins. And then I think if Richard Fourie is going to have the patience to sit a bit with this horse and bring him from behind, I'm thinking that number 12, Master Sonador, is going to run a very huge race in this race today. Then for outsider selections, I'm going to go for a number 9 horse, Cleto, Van Sale, and Warren Kennedy. This horse has shown a bit of pace here and there. He's drawn 9, but I think a nice outsider selection. Cleto currently at 15-2, not even such a big outsider. So there are people who think he has got a chance, and I think number 9, Cleto, is a horse that can be included in your quartets and trifecta selections. And then here's number 15, Victory Twist. This horse also ran a huge race behind Mr. Gonzalez. And then Mr. Gonzalez came out and he won again. And you can see 9 runners, 3 winners from that race as well. So I think 15, Victory Twist, with Tony Riverland stable, certainly in with a shout. And then let's have a look at number 7, which is the favorite De Rosa, has been replaced as well. Last time out was beaten by Montana Sky on the Poly, now going on the Scottsville track for the first time, has only had 1 run on the turf behind Gold Season, and that was in a small future. So definitely 7, De Rosa, not without a shout in this race. Another horse that one needs to look at is number 6, Cabinet Shuffle. Also ran an improved race last time out and can actually maybe run exactly with the stablemate Matadora, Senora, or whatever, Maestro Sonador. Yeah, so definitely, I think a few horses have chances in this race. So that brings us to the end of our preview. I hope I've pointed you in the right direction for a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.